Hi all. You may not be aware of this, but Leela Chess 444 and 445 are remarkably strong. If you look at the Play Leela 0 community pages, the graph is getting way up there, higher than ever before. And some people have been posting games to the forums. I'm not entirely sure what time limit this is, but I have to show you this game. It's like Nesmetanov, the great attacking player, on steroids or something. Leela Chess 0 445 was playing against Critter, which is a top 50 world ranking chess engine, I believe. So let's have a look at this game. Leela Chess 0 playing white, d4. We have out of the opening the Benoni defense being played with a twist, bishop e7 instead of fianchettoing. So bishop e7, f4, black castles, and here I was just reminded immediately of Nesmetanov. Bishop e2 with very, very naughty intention here. We'll see queen a5, bishop d2, unpinning the knight, so knight takes e4 isn't possible. Queen c7, but guess what here? Really attacking. Think of what would Nesmetanov play in this position if I give you 5 seconds starting from now. g4. Yeah, it seems this is a Kingscrusher ready position already. You can imagine an army of pawns trying to batter down the opponent's king position. The white king in the centre, you might think this is a bit double-edged, but is it? How can black, in this particular instance, in this particular position, exploit that e-file? Black plays knight e8, and white already gets a kind of grip on the position, g5, unassailable grip, because now after f6, just reinforcing these really aggressive pawns. White's king is actually looking safer than black's king here. a6, a4, clamping down on b5. Now this desperate looking f5, does it weaken black's king? Well, it is swapping a kingside pawn for a centre pawn. E takes, bishop takes, and now h5. And as I say, I think I'm going to have to adopt a new term looking at this game. This is very king's crushing ready. If you look at this army of pawns here, where, ready to batter down the opponent's king here. a5 is played. Maybe technically it seems a better defense might be h6, with the idea of trying to take on g5 and use the e5 square. But even so, white's got a big edge here and still has stuff like knight h4 perhaps at the right time. Black played what seems to be, may not be the best move, a5. It does give the a6 square for the knight, so we have knight f3, knight a6. It's already dangerous. H6 here, I'll give you an example. Knight h4 takes, knight takes, and you see that this diagonal is being weakened. White could pounce with bishop g4. This is just an example. White could crash through on the light squares like this. And there's beautiful stuff like fg. Leveraging that default rook on the h file, for example, like this, is mating. Crush. So very dangerous position. Now we have knight h4, bishop d7. White finally castles, but it's still, to me, it's king's crushing ready, this position. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 I would say. Knight b4, bishop c4, queen c8, queen e2, bishop h3, and now even more king's crushing ready. What would you play with white? Imagine you were Tao or Nesmetanov. Probably Nesmetanov was even more violent as an attacking player. So what would you play here? You really want to just batter the opponent's king to smithereens. In this position, by the way, I think the bishop here is, you'd be unwise to take it. Let's have a look at that first. I think queen g4 check is going to be backfiring on white because the knight's loose. So not queen takes e7, but just f5, offering the exchange here. And look at these amazingly aggressive pawns. So queen d8, not daring to take the rook on f1. So now we have knight e4, protecting g5. Look at these lovely pawns. Now knight c2, and white now casually plays queen h2, prompting the bishop to move, offering this other rook as well. Bishop takes f1 is played. If knight takes a1, then the queen coming to h3, taking that light square bishop. This is just devastating. You can see the devastation. Here's a devastation example with knight e6 crashing through. It's just nasty. If we look at this position, instead of bishop takes g5, say queen d7, g6, just battering the king to smithereens. Just be move the queen away first and then h6, and this is just devastation. So yeah, bishop takes f1, rook takes f1, knight d4, queen g2, so the pawns are really ready to crash through now. Queen d7, not quite yet. Bishop d3, a little bit more preparation. A little bit more preparation again with bishop c3, offering what seems to be a totally irrelevant a pawn, but that is taken. Black seems to have nothing better to do here. If black tries to take on f6, sorry, on f5, then taking, this looks as though it's implausible for black to give up the queen because of knight f6 check, winning the queen. So with nothing better to do, we see black taking on a4. Now h6, look at these pawns, inflicting so much damage now onto the king side. So bishop b6, white sidesteps this dangerous diagonal for a moment. Queen d7, hg, the battering starts. f6 check. Now g6, absolutely crushing. King h8, f7, knight g7, and now g takes h7. So there's immediate ideas of knight f6 and knight g6 if white has two moves that we checkmate with the two knights. And white goes for this anyway now after knight f6, threatening knight g6, checkmate. Black took here, and the game actually ended here. If we carry on, it must have been resigned by an operator. If we carry on with rook takes f6 as an example, knight g6, knight f8 check, double check, sorry, not double check, discovered check, would drive the king out of h8. So now here h8 queening, and this is just absolute devastation. And if we look at this again, this position here, so after check, if king h8, then there's queen g8, checkmate. So I absolutely had to show you this attacking game. It reminds me personally of Nesmetanov. This is a new level of super aggressive neural network aggressive chess that I don't think we've seen before. This is even more aggressive than some Alpha Zero games. Super aggressive stuff. It's, to me, it's like Nesmetanov on steroids. If you check out the Nesmetanov games on this channel, you'll see what I mean. Super aggressive player. This is a wonderfully aggressive style of play. I've not witnessed too many games like this in over-the-board games this year. So, hope you enjoyed it as much as me. Comments, questions, likes, shares appreciated. Thanks very much.